meet up again, yeah. We meet up again, yeah. Don't bring no trouble, there's no room in this land. Through hard times and struggles, for wars to be ending. Don't bring no trouble, don't misunderstand. Through hard times and rebels.
So, hello, Shirley, my friend, and welcome to the Diverse Creative Podcast. So,
Hi,
I'm just
John.
going to introduce you quickly because obviously I know you well. You're a friend of mine, and I've been following your music. Well, from the moment I heard the first song I heard played on our friend Desi's radio show, I was like, I have to know who this woman is. Her music is fantastic and so my vibe. So, everyone else needs to know that. They need to know a little bit about who you are and your music. So, this is Shirley Callaghan, everyone. And I'm very fortunate to call her a friend these days. We've been friends now for what, like a year? We've been chatting for about a year or so, somewhere around there. And really, I mean, I can try and describe your music, but I'd rather people hear it from the horse's mouth. How would you describe your music?
That's a tricky one. It's difficult to describe, but I suppose it's folk singer-songwriter. There's a few different genres in there, I think.
You can see why her and I are friends because that's how I describe my music. I also do that. It's difficult to describe. Yeah, whenever
Describe.
anyone says to me, "Well, what genre do you play?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Um,
don't know. I think it's a medley of many, many genres and many, many things. And I do kind of get that. I mean, you are a phenomenal songwriter. Your lyrics are really powerful, very clever, well thought out lyrics. I love your lyrics. And you do pick really challenging topics as well. It's not like you go for the airy fairy pop bullshit. You
yeah.
really dive into the thick of it. But I also have to say, like vocally, you are a phenomenal vocalist. You've got an incredible range and like a really unique quality to your voice, which is something that makes it so distinctive. Like you cannot miss a Shirley Callaghan song. When you hear it, instantly you know it's you. It's
Thanks, Donna.
fantastic stuff. No, it's amazing and it's something I love about it, you know. I think you've got this very sort of like ethereal rock star vocal going down. I don't know quite how else to describe it, but that's how I kind of feel about it.
Okay, thanks very much. That's very nice of you.
Only the truth. I speak nothing but the truth, I swear. Um, when it comes to actually writing songs, I obviously know a bit of the backstory of where you get some of the content from, but I mean, you've written songs about the current war situation in the world. You've written songs about, like you were just saying before we started this interview, narcissistic leaders in the world. You've written songs that really touch on very broad topics that are worldwide issues, as well as more personal ones, like The Altar, which was more connected with your sort of familial family situation with your dad and his passing. It's very like emotive stuff that a lot of people can connect with because we all go through something like that in life, you know. And now you've got a new song that's coming out. Can you tell me a little bit about the content of that song, about the songwriting process, about where that inspiration came from?
Okay, well, the new song, I wrote it over an instrumental, a track a friend of mine sent me. So I had previously worked with Steve O'Malley and Abe Silva a good few years back, and Abe passed away last year. So I had been talking to Steve since then. I didn't actually even know that Abe was sick, and I said to Steve, "If you have any music that you've been working on," so they had been working on music up to the time when Abe passed away. So Steve sent me the track, and I just spent a bit of time with it, and I started coming up with words and ideas, and I didn't know what I was going to write about. I didn't have a topic, or I didn't know where it was going to go. So I just started writing it, and then sometimes the song reveals itself what
Mm.
you're trying to say, and um, so I think the song is a bit of personal, a bit of political. So I think it's, and I suppose they do tie in, what's
Yeah,
going
I
on
mean,
and how
absolutely.
we
The
care.
one kind of always affects the other at the end of the day. The stability of the world affects our personal stability a lot more than we'd like it to, you know? And I think it's an amazing thing to hear that this is a collaboration, because I know like you've collaborated with other musicians before when you've been doing like songwriting workshops in different countries around the world, and you've come up with some really interesting stuff, which is obviously making your whole sound so diverse. How often do you collaborate these days, and how often are you writing solo, the music as well as the vocals? Like, what kind of what do you feel is more common for you these days?
Well, I have been doing a lot of collaborating and, trying to finish songs that are part of collaborations. But I also, they're two totally different things in a
Mm.
way. Um, I also love to write, my own stuff. So I have a lot of ideas. I record them in my phone, and kind of like seeds of songs. So, and it's something that I've been so busy collaborating and not even collaborating, but trying to get them recorded and trying to get them finished and produced and everything. Um, that I thought I really want to get writing some of my own. And so yeah, there a few weeks ago, I wrote a new song called Lost Family, and I think when you take a break from writing your own stuff and go back to it, it's almost like there's a freshness to it, or
Mm.
I mean, and I really like this song, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. And I have a song released. Our leaders are sleeping. I released it at the beginning of when I started releasing songs, and there was something always about the song that I thought it could be better. So I went back into that about 2 weeks ago, and I thought I'll try some minor chords. So that one is recorded. So it's they're different things, but I enjoy collaboration as well. Um, so they're just
There are very different entities, because obviously collaborating with people that add something you wouldn't necessarily have thought of, or, maybe a sound or a melody you wouldn't have come up with on your own. And like you said, the song kind of reveals itself in those moments, because every melody's got its own flavor and its own story that kind of help to build a picture in your head of what the song is trying to say. But it's also, for me, such an amazing thing, because like I know obviously the songs that you're referring to that you've recorded before, and I think that like Our Leaders Are Sleeping is an amazing song, like really incredible song. I've always loved it. So I'm really
thanks.
interested to see what a kind of second go at that sounds like, because I think the first rendition is so fantastic. It's really
Uh,
exciting to see what comes at the next go round. And also,
yeah,
it's for me a really interesting thing that I can always, like I said, you pick these challenging topics, but I can always feel that kind of connection between like a global situation that you might be talking about, and yet you still make it feel like something so relatable that we're all going through.
yeah. I think what's going on in your immediate life personally and what's going on in the world. I mean, sometimes there's a similarity
Bit
with
of a
these.
mirror.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, the our leaders are sleeping now. I think I'm going to have to change the title. Uh, yes, I don't know
It's a new
how that's
song.
going to work because I've rewritten some of the lyrics and I've written more lyrics, and it's just a very different song now. Some of the same lyrics are in it, but
And how
some.
on earth are you recording as much as you are? Because honestly, like I know I kind of record like a batch of stuff, and then I stagger my releases so that I've got content that spreads out over a length of time. And then I've got to go back into trying to do this like a bit of a catch up where I've got this backlog of songs that I'm recording. And I know you and I have discussed this in the past where we go back into our phones and kind of listen to those seeds of songs as you were talking about and think, oh yeah, that one was really good. I should probably pull that out and work on that one. But
Yeah.
you just seem to be able to record and release so consistently. It's very impressive.
Okay.
How? Please share your secret with me.
Um, I probably work a lot. I put a lot of hours into it. And then I have the facility at home. I built a small little studio at home. So I have that luxury of being able to just get up in the morning. And if I think something is ready to record, I can just plug in and start recording. So that's probably, don't
Now
have
I
to,
see.
yeah.
I
So
see some of the secret there. Home
yeah, I can
studio,
do a
way
lot
to
of it
go.
at home. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Whereas,
So
whereas for me, if I tried that, I'd have roosters crowing in the background. Like if I do record at home, it's got to be between sort of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. when everyone is asleep and all the birds and animals have shut up and gone to bed for the night.
eh, yeah, yeah, that makes it a bit difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am impressed though, because I think even if even more so considering that you're recording a lot of it at home and yourself, it always has a very professional quality to it. Like all the recordings come out really beautifully and really well produced. And I know that you have worked with Paul Statham and you've worked with a couple of producers in the past. How often are you still doing that? Are you still working with the same producers? Is it new producers? Or is it a kind of a medley depending on the track?
Well, I suppose it depends on the track. This new song that's out, Steve O'Malley, he actually lives close by. Steve produced that, obviously, because he is a producer and himself and Abe wrote the track, the instrumental. So Steve would have produced that. Paul Statham, I am still working with Paul. He's recently produced another song called His Mother, so that's finished and should go on the album. And a collaboration. Our leaders, sorry, not our leaders sleeping. Sleep When I'm Dead. That's a new track that we wrote in Spain last year. So Paul has produced that as well. So that will go out.
So are you pulling all of these together as you hinted there as a whole album and releasing it as a whole album?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what tracks are going to go on the album yet, but there are some new ones, and but some of the songs that are already out will probably go on the album. Like The Altar will go on the album, like Strangers. Um, so yeah, and I've signed to a label in London, so the album will go out on vinyl and CD. I hope that's the plan. So
That's
to be
amazing.
online.
So I feel like also this brings me up to my next topic that I then want to chat about, seeing as you brought it up, signing to a label. How has that felt as someone who's been independent up until this point? Or do you still retain a lot of your independence? And what are they doing for you as an artist? Because obviously I'm like entirely independent, don't have a label, even vaguely interested in what I do. And I'm not sure whether that's good or bad. But how do you feel about it now that you're in that position?
Well, I would still think I'm independent. I still keep the rights of everything, and the label will help with promoting and getting it out on radio more, and they will help with the release and you know getting the whole helping put the whole thing together, and so and they will make it available online to buy and the vinyl and CDs, but I don't feel much different really. Yeah. The workload hasn't changed much, but it's nice to know that's there, that bit of extra support is there. That's quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially from a marketing perspective, like I know how much sort of behind the scenes work we do when it comes to the marketing. Like we're constantly, as independent artists, it's like this constant, never-ending stream of work. And then at the same time, you're trying to write songs, record songs, film music videos, create content. It feels
Yeah.
like an unbelievable workload. So I can imagine having someone who has got already a catalog of people to market something to and has all the contacts that you don't now have to go and search for and find definitely helps to alleviate at least a bit of that kind of
It is.
pressure.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think, like especially with your stuff, like it's something that I feel every time I listen to one of your songs, I'm like, I think of all these places that it could be pushed to and all these like radio stations I could be hearing it on. And I mean, I'm always very impressed by those of us who manage to get our songs out there at all these days. But at the same time, I think yours always, for me at least, feel like they've got a lot of potential. So it'll be really nice to see, and I hope that the record label does you justice. I really, really do that. Hope they value what they've got. Yeah, it's a pleasure. And so tell me, what is the title of this new song? Did you mention it earlier and it slipped my mind? What is the title of the new song that you're releasing and when is it coming out?
Um, well, the album is at the moment probably going to be called Sleep When I'm Dead. So that would be the next single. Um,
Nice.
yeah, Paul Statham, he produced that, and I wrote that with Katrina uh, Muller and Peter Scott. Sorry, in yeah, that was in the Spain retreat. So yeah, he did a great job on the production on this one. It's really good. Like so,
Oh, I'm excited. That sounds
uh,
fantastic.
um, that'll probably go out as the single with the album. I think that's the
That's going to be very exciting. And do you have a kind of timeline for this, or is it just like when it's done, it's done?
well, yeah. I mean, I'd like to get it out soon, but you can't really rush it either when you're trying to get some new tracks recorded and so I just want to make sure the right songs go on it.
Mm.
Um, so it could be January, could be. We're
Nice way
nearly
to
in
start the new
December.
year. Yeah.
So hopefully this is January coming, not the following one. So
I've been there. I can relate. How many songs do you currently have recorded and out there already?
out there, I think maybe nine. I think it's
Okay.
nine.
It feels
Yeah.
like more to me. I feel like I need to go and double check that. But like you do, when did you start releasing your music? How long ago? How long has this particular piece of your musical journey been?
January last year. So almost 2 years. Yeah.
I mean, that's incredibly impressive that you've done so much in that short space of time, really.
Yeah, a lot has changed in the last 2 years. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you feel like, I mean, like I know for me, I've now been releasing music since 2019, and I was performing a few years prior to that, before I started actually recording what I was doing and releasing it. I was performing live, and I kind of started a little. Well, I started later than a lot of people do, I suppose, but better late than never. You start when you start, you do what you do. Um, And I do know that my entire life kind of changed as I stepped more into what my passion was and what I really wanted to do with my life and really pursuing my music, which to me feels like something I have to do, not something I
Exactly.
really have much choice in. How do you feel about that and how has it affected your life?
Yeah, I feel that as well. It's just something you have to do. It's not, I don't think it's really, well, I mean, obviously things are a choice, but it's something you want to do and you're drawn to and you have to write and they're just things you have to do from
Yeah,
in here, you know.
exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
And you play guitar and keyboard, right? Piano,
Yeah,
at least.
yeah.
And I know because you and I speak about this fairly often that it takes, there's a different kind of work involved with each of these things, and performing with a guitar has its bonuses. Obviously, much easier and lighter to pick up a guitar than a whole piano and cart that around.
Yes,
But
it
it's,
is easy. Yeah.
but if you, I mean, how do you feel about those two instruments and how they affect your music and your writing?
Um, I mean, I love both instruments, but when you write with a guitar is different to writing with a piano.
Mm.
They're kind of different songs, different. It's
It's
just
like a
different.
totally different animal.
It's a different animal. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. Um, but yeah, this last song now I recorded. I started rewriting Our Leaders Are Sleeping. I started with the putting minor chords in with the guitar. So I have that recorded and I have the vocals recorded. So I'm trying to put a piano track on it at the moment. Um, so they're quite nice together as well. I think the piano recorded and the guitar. I
Mm.
think yeah, they're a nice mixture. Mm.
Yeah, I agree too. I think if you have the ability to do that, I started with the piano when I was very young and then strayed away from it because I think I had this image of myself as like wanting to be a bit more like a rock star, which I'm not. I mean, you know my music, I'm not.
Ah, you are. You're modest now.
Maybe like a sort of indie folk something star, but maybe not like a rock star. But I had this image of myself as much darker and much more like um kind of aggressive than I actually am. And so I picked up the guitar and felt like this would be a better instrument to do this with. And then I was never really able to write, and still to this day don't really write the songs I imagined myself writing. It's a strange thing. Like I can strive and strive and strive to write a particular kind of song, but ultimately whatever comes out is just kind of what comes out. Like I don't have as
Exactly.
much control over it as I'd like to think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we have any control over what we're writing or even the style. I mean, you can have different genres with different producers and different sounds, but I think when you go to write, you just have to wait and see what happens. You
Yeah,
don't, you can't control, well, is it going to be, you know, good or is it going to be bad or is it, you just don't know. I don't think you've no control over it.
it
Can't
certainly
say,
doesn't feel like it to me. Yeah, I don't think we've got any control over it whatsoever. And in some ways, maybe that just keeps it honest. We're not able to fake it. It is just really genuinely whatever's coming through us or from within us, regardless of
exactly.
what filter we'd like to put over it. It's the
Yeah,
truth.
it's the
And
truth.
I think that's one of the things that makes your music and hopefully my music a very powerful thing in the world is that it's honest,
It
you
is, yeah.
know?
Comes from a
It's
place
not,
of,
yeah, yeah, and it's not like it's not mundane. I tend to feel like I listen to the top 10 on some local hit radio station recently, and I ended up feeling like the top 10 songs were just all variations of the same song. They
yeah,
didn't feel like the content changed or the melody was particularly unique across it. I really got to the end of that top 10 feeling a little bit like disappointed, you know.
exactly.
And I know you've been performing a lot recently and getting on stage, and that's a very different thing from recording. How do you
Yes.
feel the songs change between like on stage performance and the recorded songs that you're creating?
I think the live performance, I think it very much depends on, there's a few things like recently there a couple of weeks ago I did a guest appearance at Trevor Hansberry. He launched an album in Ennis at his gig. And I Lost Family is a new song, and I had only performed it maybe once before, and His Mother is a new song. And I didn't know what way they would go, and I started singing, and the sound was just so beautiful. I think if you start to sing and the sound coming back at you is really, really good, then you can perform better. So
Absolutely, yeah.
absolutely. I mean, if you start a gig, and it's happened to me a few times, and I mean, you can go and do a sound check, and it's all beautiful, and then go up to do the gig, and it's like, oh, what the. So, but the sound of Trevor's gig was just so lovely, and Lost Family, I started it, and it was just all quiet, like it was lovely. It was just so nice, and so yeah, I really enjoyed that. And a lot of that was down to the sound as well. And, there was a lovely bunch of people there. They were there just for the music. Like, it was, yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, it makes a difference when people are actually there to listen, I think, as an artist, as someone who's, especially someone who's sort of performing original songs and writing music and speaking honestly from your soul. It makes a huge difference when people are there to really just listen. And like you say, good sound. I mean,
Oh, everything.
having having
Everything.
amazing sound, yeah, it's the makes the biggest difference.
Oh, it
Like,
does. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
when you get on stage and you can't actually hear yourself, it's a problem, you know. You're
It
never quite
is.
sure what you're putting out there.
And you're kind of like, okay, you just got to, get through this. And you can't really enjoy it as much, I don't think,
Mm.
if the sound isn't really good. I don't think.
Yeah, and it affects your confidence as a performer in
Oh,
those moments, you know.
in that moment, it does. Yeah.
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 And I always find it's interesting because when I go into studio to record songs, like I feel like songs kind of grow. They start out as just you in your house, you're writing a song, you love it. Instantly, it's a new baby. It's amazing. And it's like your
Yeah.
favorite thing. And then you take it out and you go and perform it somewhere for someone. And it either rises a level or kind of gets knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
And
Going away. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And then you take it into studio. And I've had kind of mixed feelings about this. Sometimes songs that I felt just didn't work live have been phenomenal as recorded pieces, where we've been
Yeah.
able to add in all the extra layers of sound and harmonies and all the other things you can hear as a musician that no one else can hear. And suddenly it becomes this whole new thing, and you're like, this is an amazing song. And other times you go in to record it and you're like, I really thought this was going to be a good one, and I don't know where the heart went, you know? And they definitely change in those environments from whatever it was when it was just you and the song.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think when you're first writing it, like that, you don't know what it's going to sound like, and you just have to try and record it and hope it is good. And some of them are good, and some of them aren't.
I'm yet to hear.
Or, or
I'm
they're
yet.
they're not as good as you thought they were,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
surprise you, and you might record it and think, okay, and then you listen and you go, wow, that's actually quite good. So it's, yeah, you just don't know.
Into the great unknown. So we've got a few minutes left of this interview. So before we get cut off by Zoom, I need to know a few things from you. Where can people find you and follow you on social media? And I know your music is out there on almost any platform, but which one would you prefer people to go and listen to you on?
I don't mind really. I have a website, shirleycallaghan.com. I have some songs on there, and there's a couple of videos there. And then there's Spotify and Apple, and, all the usual platforms. And there's a couple of videos on YouTube, so Facebook. So it's Shirley Callaghan Music on Instagram, and then there's Facebook. on the
which
social
is
media.
Shirley. Yeah, I know. I find it hard to plug these things as well because I feel like, I ideally want people to go and listen from your website. If they can
Yeah.
go to your website, all the better. And then they're also going to hopefully be able to get your LP or your CD when it comes out. They're going to be able to get it from that website, right?
I'll be able to get it from my website from then. Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Then we're sending people to the right place. Like I try and
Okay.
send it. I don't have a website, so I try and send everyone to Bandcamp, but having a website is way better. It's much more personalized and hopefully then people can kind of get those releases as they come out like quicker than everybody else does.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully.
Well, thank you so very much. We've literally got like less than a minute left. I'm going to press stop on this recording and then I will say my goodbyes to you personally after that. But thank you, Shirley. This has been a
Okay, thanks very much.
fantastic interview. Such a
Thanks a lot.
pleasure.
understand to hard times